أهلا كيف أنتم؟ Welcome to learn Arabic online with Loubna Duymayan. Life is incomplete without, and you fill in the blank. Defective verbs are incomplete without their last radicals. The defective verbs الأفعال الناقصة are those verbs whose third radical is one of the weak letters that are either a waw or a ya, such as da'a, to call, to invite, to summon. Da'wa is the verbal noun of the verb da'a, which means prayer, invitation, from the root dal, ain, waw, based on its verbal noun, da'wa. Masha, to walk. Mashi, walking, with the ya in the end. From the root mim, shin, ya. Nasiya, to forget. Nisyan, forgetting, the verbal noun of nasiya, from the root nun, sin, ya. You will notice that just as for hello verbs, there is a principle of shortening the defective radical, the waw or the ya. Defective verbs الأفعال الناقصة are arranged into three groups for the purpose of conjugation. So we have to assort them to facilitate the process for you. So we'll have three references. Those whose last radical is a waw. Those whose last radical is a ya. And those whose last radical is either a waw or a ya, but whose conjugations do not reveal the identity of the last radical in the roots. The verb da'a, to call, to invite, has a waw as the original last radical of its roots. So here, when I am referring to the last radical, I am not talking about the form one of the verb, but the roots, because da'a, form one of the verb da'a, ends with an extended alif. But the third radical of its root is the waw. So be careful with it. Actually, this verb occurs as da'awa if you rely on its roots. But since this form activates the pattern of fatha, waw, fatha in the end of the verb, which is not granted by the Arabic grammarians, the two fathas eliminate the waw and form an alif. So we have da'a, form one, verb, based on the roots dal, ain, waw. This originally is da'awa. But if you check the pattern, we have fatha and then waw, we have fatha and then waw, and then fatha. So these two fathas combined generate an alif and eliminate the waw. That's why we have da'a. And the pattern, to follow the track of the pattern, you have to start from the consonant and then short vowel, because first we write the consonant and then followed by short vowel. So we have ain fatha, waw, fatha. Ain fatha, waw, fatha. So this is the pattern. فتحة واو فتحة. Since the conjugation for the third person masculine singular هو he is دعا, so we keep the form as is. The feminine conjugation should yield to دعات. So what did we do here? We just added the suffix of the third person singular feminine ta. دعات. So, however, the alif has a hidden sukun, alright? Giving you 2 zeros in a row. Here, a hidden sukun. So, the first one is dropped, since with the along with the long vowel. So this is gone. Just as we have seen so many times before. The fatha, the short counter of the alif, remains. Thus, the result is da'at, after the elimination of the long vowel alif. Alright, by now you are supposed to be bored with this repetition, which is a good sign that you have started mastering the principles of conjugations. Very good. With any conjugation where suffix begins with a consonant, these verbs are regular because the conjugations consist of the stem da'aw, because when the stem is followed by a consonant which is ta in here, it has to be preceded by a sukun, and the alif turns into its original form based on its root to the waw. So this is the stem, da'aw. But gladly we don't have to deal with prefixes. We have just suffixes in the perfect tense. So what do? We attach the suffix to the stem da'aw. So you have da'awtu, ana, I invited or I called. Da'awta, da'awti. Nahnu, first person plural. Da'awna, just adding the na, referring to we. And antuma, second person, dual, masculine and feminine. Da'awtuma, the tuma suffix. Antum, second person plural, masculine. Tum, da'awtum. You have the stem plus the suffix referring to this subject's pronoun antum. Antunna, second person plural, feminine. Da'awtunna. Here you just borrow the suffix from the subject pronoun antunna, tunna, by being added to the stem da'aw. And hunna, da'awna, just the na, third person plural, feminine. When the suffix begins with a vowel, a short vowel, fatha, kasra, dhamma, these are short vowels. However, as in the case with whom, they, third person, plural, masculine, there is a problem. Theoretically, the conjugation would be the stem da'aw plus the collective waw, waw al-jama'a, the waw and the alif. So we would have da'aw, the stem, plus the waw alif. So this would sound absolutely ridiculous. Da'aw, like wolves. Da'aw. We have two waws with sukuns. So we have, because this has a hidden sukun also as a long vowel. So we have two waws, double waws and double sukun, which is banned in Arabic. Therefore, the first is dropped. First come, first served. So this has to be gone. And to eliminate the forbidden sequence, to end up with da'aw. Okay? So this is the story behind this conjugation. For huma, dual, third person, masculine, huma. When we add the alif of the dual to the stem da'aw, so we have da'aw plus the long vowel alif for the dual. So we lengthen the sound of the preceding letter that is supposed to have a fatha, matching the following long vowel alif. So we would have da'awa, da'awa. So we have da'aw plus the suffix alif. So this alif will lengthen the sound of the waw, so the waw has to carry the short vowel alif. Da'awa, da'awa. But do not confuse it with da'aw, because this alif is unpronounced. It's just an extra alif with no phonetic value. It's not even acting as a long vowel. It's just there. But this one, da'awa, this one actually is a long vowel alif that requires a preceding fatha. So be careful with these. Look for the context. Okay? For the feminine, huma, this one, huma, da'ata, they invited, we add the dual alif to the third person feminine hiya. So rely this conjugation on this one, not this one. It would be confusing for you to remember. So huma da'ata to this one. How? So the third, so when you add the dual to the third person singular feminine conjugation with a preceding fatha, that, so this ta has to become active, because here it is motionless. It has a sukun. So when you add the alif, you have to change this motionless letter to an active one with the help of fatha, to have da'ata, da'ata. Okay, and now we come to defectives with a ya as their final radical. The verb mesha, mesha ending with an alif maqsura, shortened alif. Da'a ends with an extended alif, but mesha with a shortened alif. This is another form of alif, but still alif, lengthening the sound of the preceding letter. So, the conjugation, the verb masha is an example for this category. It will conjugate exactly the same way as the verb da'a, except that a ya will show up in the conjugations instead of the waw. So ponder the conjugations in the past tense. So here we have da'awtu. Here the stem is mashay. Mashay tu. From the verb masha. Mashaytu, and it is preceded by a sukun because the suffix is a consonant. Mashayta, you walked. Mashayti, mashayna, da'awna, it's same thing. Just instead of the waw with sukun, we have a ya with sukun because the root of masha is mim, shin, ya. مشيتما مشيتم مشيتن مشينا. And for مشت هي, third person, singular feminine, we had that, مشت. Same principle applied to reach this conjugation. And da'awa, mashaya, here the alif is preceded by an alif for the same reason as da'awa. Mashata, mashata based on mashat. We just add the alif of the dual and change the sukun to a fatha to match the long vowel alif. And mashaw, da'aw, same thing, is mashi is the stem, mashi, plus waw, alif, the suffix referring to whom, third person plural masculine. So we have two sukuns in a row. The first one is dropped. So we have ma shaw. Sorry. Here. Ma shaw. They walked. Ma shaw. And mashayna. Very easy. Alright. For the third person singular masculine, conjugation is marked by a shortened alif as in its form 1 for masha, indicating the presence of a ya as its last radical. Because the shortened alif looks exactly like a ya without dots. So this is the sign of ya. This is the sign of a waw, in general, with some exceptions. So this is the sign of an alif that will turn to a waw, and this is the sign of an alif maqsura, shortened alif, that will turn to a ya during the process of conjugation. The last mysterious category, illustrated by the verb nasiya, to forget. Nisyan is the verbal noun, forgetting, which has a ya as its last radical. So the root is nun, sin, ya. And radiya, radiya, to be pleased, from the verbal noun ridwan. Ridwan means approval, consent, blessing, with the root ra, dad, and waw. So it has a waw as its last radical. So these two verbs, nasiya and radiya, will conjugate the same way, ignoring the kind of their last root. Doesn't matter during the conjugation. They will be similar, okay, while conjugating them. So here, nesiya, to forget, we have nesitu. Here we did not mark the ya with sukun because it is preceded by the kasra. So the kasra and the ya, since the kasra matches the ya is the long vowel that lengthens the sound of the letter before. Here it's not the same case because we have a fatha. So fatha, that's why the ya has to carry a sukun. It has to be still. Here, with the kasra, we don't need sukun because the ya, the long vowel ya, is already carrying a hidden sukun. So it's not necessary to mark it with the sukun. Nasitu, nasita, nasiti, nasiya, and here you just add to ta and you keep the ya. The ya is not omitted. Nasiyat. Again, nasina, nasituma, nasiya. You just add the alif. Actually, conjugating a verb ending with a ya is much easier because there isn't really an omission happening during the conjugation. So nasina, nasituma, nasiya, nasiyata. Okay, here we added the ta and alif to nasiya because no omission happened. So we didn't rely on this. Or you just add the long vowel alif. You can rely on this or on this one to conjugate the verb nasiya in the third person dual feminine. Alright? Nasitu, nasitu, nasu. Nasu, it's nasiya plus waw al-jama'a, the collective waw, the suffix for this conjugation. So here, nasiya, we have the ya that will turn to a long vowel because of this kasra, and we have the waw. So we have double long vowel. So the first one has to be omitted, and this kasra has to match the following long vowel, and the short counterpart of waw is a dhamma. So we have nasu, nasina, alright? And radiya conjugates the same way as nasiya. Same way. So, note that the conjugation for whom would give you two long vowels, and as I have explained right now, in a row. That's why the ya has to be dropped. And the waw of the suffix remains because we are referring to whom. Alright, we have to know that we are referring to whom based on the suffix. So this has to stay. And the kasra turns into dhamma to be in harmony with the waw. We need harmony. That's so important in Arabic. It has to sound good. Know the principles and anticipate the behavior of defective verbs. Conjugation, because you are on your way of mastering Arabic, believe it or not. Without a solid foundation, you will have trouble learning everything, because the building is only as tall as the foundation is strong enough to build on. So take your time on watching, don't rush, and understanding and practicing till you watch the next video. Maybe I'm going fast, but you take your time. You don't need to rush. Verbally speaking. أراكم لاحقا. See you later.